All right, guys. So, Fed chairman says inflation is not a threat long term despite massive balance sheet. So, apparently, Jerome Powell thinks that the government can just keep printing money. And yeah, that inflation thing, it's not going to be a problem. Don't worry about that. So, we're going to dive into this. We're also going to dive into inactive Bitcoin supply reaches 4-year high, pointing to bullish sentiment. Guys, this article definitely stick around for us to go and read into this because this is extremely bullish stuff. And it just keeps adding on and adding on and adding on. I know wallet addresses have been rising for so long, and this article does a really good job of just tying it all up together. We're going to look at price, fear and greed indexes, the charts. We're also going to look at this, and we're going to start here today with Japanese investors prefer Bitcoin and Ripple over Ethereum. And I'm not doing this, I'm not presenting this to you guys to bag on Ethereum. I hold Ethereum. I think Ethereum will perform very, very well. But I thought this was interesting, and I just want to report the news to you guys. So let's start here. If you guys are a regular viewer, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you're new here, hey, maybe you want to smash the like button as you get some value provided to you. So let's jump into this. A recent survey compiled by the cryptocurrency exchange BitMax indicates that the Japanese are quite fond of Ripple's XRP. Having to choose which their favorite digital asset is, most participants placed XRP close to Bitcoin and well above Ethereum. So the popular Japanese exchange posted the survey on Twitter to check among its followers which are their most preferred cryptocurrencies. Now this chart's a little hard to read so I basically highlighted and I'll explain to you guys as we go. So somewhat expectedly, the largest cryptocurrency by market cap, which is Bitcoin in yellow. So this right here is Bitcoin in yellow. It occupies the first spot with 26% of the votes. What's perhaps more intriguing is that Ripple XRP in pink comes very close with 25%. The now four-seated digital asset by market cap has overcome Ethereum in red by a massive margin. So this right here is XRP at 25% in pink, and here's Ethereum at 9%. So only 9% of all participants have voted in favor of ETH. So Bitcoin, Ripple, Ethereum. The remaining 40% of the votes were distributed among the other popular altcoins, and those are pictured in the blue. Those include the dual-layer blockchain project written in Java, NEM, XEM, one of the first Japanese coins that came as a hard fork of Litecoin, Monocoin, and Nano, formerly known as Rayblox or XRB, employing its own technology called the block lattice architecture. However, it's worth noting that the number of participants was relatively low, approximately 1,500 people, which could imply that the survey was not entirely comprehensive. Yeah, guys, I would also say, hey, what type of content or what does the Twitter page that posts this promote? Who are the primary followers? Because if they're people who are primarily, invested into one coin, like you have different subsets within crypto. You have like Link Marines, you have XRP Army, you have people who are very for their coin, and you can build an audience that are around those people. So I think it would be great if this survey was pushed out to more people and see if we get the same results, or see if Ethereum may have ranked higher. But nonetheless, very interesting, guys. I do hold Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP, and I think they're both doing great long term, but it is interesting to see that Japan likes Bitcoin and Ripple over Ethereum. Just something to note, just something I wanted to bring to you guys. So today, prices that we have, Bitcoin is at 9,400, Ethereum at 233, XRP is at 19 cents, Bitcoin Cash is at 235, $43 Litecoin, 7-cent Cardano, 260 Tezos, and 405 Chainlink, 7-cent Stellar. We could take a look at VeChain. VeChain is at 0.0090, and I know some of you guys like Theta, including myself, and Theta is sitting at 22 cents. Basic Attention Token is also at 22 cents. That's basically our prices for today. On the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, we are up. We're at 39, and I will show you guys the Bitcoin Google Trends. Yesterday, I think we were at 37. Now we're at 34. So same 90-day structure, and we're just tapering off now. So it makes sense, the sense that, there's no up, there's no down, because price is sideways. All this stuff is very correlated within each other. When you look at it long enough, you start to recognize the patterns. And as we can see here, guys, yeah, we're trading in this range, and we're waiting. We are waiting on one of two things here, right? We're either going to get a clean break above this upper resistance, and then we're going to start confirming it as support, and we'll take off. This will make a lot of people short-term and possibly long-term bullish, or we're just going to capitulate like we have every single other time that we come up and touch this resistance. That's really the two options we have. And right now, since we've capitulated every other time, a lot of people think we might capitulate, but you have a lot of people out there who are like, no, it's not it. This is the time. After this is the last time you're gonna be able to buy 10K. These people said the same thing here. They said the same thing here. And this may very well be the last time that you can buy at 10K or below 10K, but it also may very well drop. So just be prepared for either side, guys. Have a trading plan, or if you're a long-term investor, have your investing plan. Have what you need in place so you don't emotionally buy or sell, right? Because even if you're long-term holding, if you're watching price action too much and you're too emotional, you might make bad decisions. So just make sure you have your plan. If your plan is to hold 2 or 3 Bitcoin or 1 Bitcoin, whatever your Bitcoin holding is, and you're not going to sell it till it hits at least 100K, make sure you write that down so you can stick to it when you get off your game. All right. If you guys like daily cryptocurrency videos, consider subscribing to the channel. Guys, less than a month and we are at over 1,000 subscribers at 1,600, so that's amazing. Thank you guys for all the support. If you guys could also like the video, that would help me push this out to even more people, and we can keep on growing the digital investor community. With that said, let's jump into this. Again, guys, I'm pretty excited to read this article, so I hope you guys are excited as well. So, inactive Bitcoin supply reaches 4-year high, pointing to bullish sentiment. On-chain data indicates crypto investors are not taking profits, but are holding on despite uncertain economic conditions and Bitcoin's strong performance. At the time of publication, 60% of all Bitcoins have not moved in at least a year, according to data from Glassnode. This data suggests Bitcoin ownership is consolidating, and investors who bought at the cycle bottom in 2018 have been reluctant to take profits and relinquish their Bitcoin holdings. It's been over 4 years since a percentage of supply this large has been inactive. One method to analyze inactive Bitcoins has been to group them by the length of time they've been inactive, called hodl waves. This data analysis was pioneered by Austin, Texas-based Unchained Capital to display macroscopic shifts in Bitcoin ownership and use. Each wave, 1 day, 1 month, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, etc., represents the period of time in which a percentage of the issued supply has not been used in a transaction, or, in other words, has been inactive. So just in case if any of you guys don't know what HODL is, I'm sure most of you do, but the term HODL represents the behavior of die-hard Bitcoin investors who chose to hold Bitcoins with particularly no intention of using or selling those coins. Basically, people who believe in Bitcoin long term, and they don't really plan on selling until, a lot of them don't plan on selling at all, right? It's the belief that, hey, eventually we won't have to sell because Bitcoin will actually be used as the white paper says, which is a peer-to-peer currency, right? We'll actually be using it as a currency, a form of store of value, and you'll never have to sell. And just call them hodling. Each wave visualizes what percentage of the Bitcoin supply has been hodled and for how long. So we can see here is 2018. So when the top of the market came and we had that dip and we reached capitulation, and ever since then though we've been up. We've had one dip here. This is obviously the run up to 14K when we came from 3K to 14K. So you had some profit taking, guys. That is expected. You have to expect some profit taking. And then as you can see though, after we started coming up, we have been raised up, and we're basically still increasing. We didn't really dip after that. Even we might dip if Bitcoin dips, right? So if we on Bitcoin come down to here on this lower band, then maybe we'll see a dip. But if we didn't, that would be even more bullish if we kept trending up despite Bitcoin's dips, which very well may happen because market sentiment's changing. I think there is some more people who still need to be shaken out. At the same time, I think retail is also getting smarter, and they're realizing if I just buy and hold this, I'm going to be way better off, and they're looking past current price action, and they're just DCAing, dollar cost averaging into the market and accumulating. Dhruv Bansal, co-founder and CSO at Unchained Capital, explained that this hodl wave data suggests investors, quote unquote, who bought Bitcoin on the way down from 6K to 3K in 2018 are still holding it despite the tremendous gains since then and the recent economic turbulence. Two age segments that have grown the most are coins held for more than 10 years and those held for 2 to 3 years, which are up 31% and 26% year to date, respectively. In 2020, the 2 to to 3 year band represents coins held from the 2017 market, all-time high to present. So this is just another graph showing you guys. And notice how similar this graph is to the other graph, right? We have our capitulation, we have our accumulation, and it's just trending upwards since, still accumulating, still in accumulation. So very bullish. When accumulation to me is one of the most bullish signs I can tell. If I wanted to buy something, right, one of the first things I would look for is, well, is there a market? Are other people buying this? So when you look at Bitcoin, before you buy Bitcoin, you say, well, hey, are other people buying this? We can see other people are buying this, and people are also holding this, and the number is going up and rising up year after year after year. So I mean, just that alone, like, you guys can take certain factors that just hold tremendous weight, and off that alone, investing in Bitcoin is like a no-brainer. Not financial advice, but to me, investing in Bitcoin is practically a no-brainer. Whether you think Bitcoin has value or not, the fact is that other people think Bitcoin has value, and if the collective of people acknowledge and think Bitcoin has value, then it actually has value. It's a free market. Every Bitcoin investor might not intentionally hodl though. Speculating on the 2 to 3 year band wave's growth, Yassine Elmandra, cryptocurrency analyst at ARK Investment Management, told CoinDesk his guess is growth in this coin age group could, among other things, be a function of retail investors who, quote unquote, who bought at the peak and lost their Trezor wallet or can't log into Coinbase. So basically what they're saying is he thinks that this could possibly be people who bought Bitcoin during the bubble hype and they can't log into Coinbase, so they lost their cold storage wallet like a Trezor. I mean, I'm sure that's the case for some people, but I'm not going to amount all of this data up to, oh, everybody lost their keys. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. Like, do we really think this accumulation is all because people can't log into Coinbase? Come on now. Despite an extremely volatile Q1 2020 and ongoing macroeconomic uncertainty, an increasing amount of dormant Bitcoins confirms that buyers still believe in their investment more than ever. According to Bonsall, if you believe Bitcoin's price history repeats or at least rhymes, then this may be a bullish sign. The market consolidating into strong hands as macro trends highlight Bitcoin's value proposition. If you guys are buying Bitcoin, if you guys are still here, congratulations, because you guys definitely do have the strong hands. I think people who are watching crypto now are going to be heavily rewarded as long as you guys play your cards right. One of the easiest ways to play your cards right is to just accumulate Bitcoin and keep accumulating, right? Don't worry about this current price. We're so low from our all-time high. We are in accumulation ranges. These wallets are going up. People holding Bitcoin are going up. People are not selling Bitcoin. Institutions are coming in. Grayscale's buying more Bitcoin. Just Grayscale alone is buying more Bitcoin per week, per month than miners can put onto the market. And that's one institution. There's also another institution coming in. I forget the name. I think it's... honestly, I don't remember the name, so I'm not going to guess. But there's another one coming in that is meant to compete with Grayscale and has lower fees. All right, so moving on, let's move to Fed Chairman, inflation not a threat long-term despite massive balance sheet. So Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, reported on the state of the economy at a senatorial hearing held on June 16th. During the initial report and the actions taken by the Fed in response to the coronavirus crisis, the chairman listed all of the extraordinary measures adopted by the bank since March. Part of that included an unprecedented expansion of the Fed's balance sheet, which purchased securities on the market with newly created money as part of the practice of quantitative easing. But the chairman was entirely optimistic about the prospects of inflation. He noted that in the short term, weak demand resulted in declines in prices of apparel, gas, air travel, and other industries impacted by lockdowns. Due to this, consumer price inflation has dropped noticeably in recent months, he said. Quote unquote, he says, longer term inflation expectations have remained fairly steady as output stabilizes and the recovery moves ahead. Inflation should stabilize and gradually move back up over time. Inflation is nevertheless likely to remain below our objective for some time. So inflation will stabilize and gradually move back over time. I mean, Anyways, answering concerns from Senator Richard Shelby on the size of the balance sheet, Powell dismissed any resultant issue. He says, "I don't think that the balance sheet at anything like its current size presents any real threat to either inflation or financial stability." He stressed that the balance sheet is only expanded just as much as it is necessary, without making it any bigger than it needs to be. Guys, the problem though is that it has no limits. Yeah, it's not any bigger than it needs to be. They print just enough, but they're printing nonetheless. I just don't understand how they think that we can just print trillions of dollars and nothing that bad's going to happen. And we're printing more money than the world has ever seen before. Anyways, he says, when the time comes, like what we did from 2014 to 2017, we just froze the size of the balance sheet. And as the economy grows, the balance sheet shrinks as a percentage of the economy. He explained that in the past, actively shrinking the balance sheet had effects on the economy while a passive approach did not. These optimistic views contrast the opinion of many market experts who believe the dollar may lose a significant portion of its value to inflation. The remainder of the session largely focused on the perspective of employment after the crisis, as well as the recent decision to purchase corporate bonds, which some senators criticize as being necessary. So that's that, guys. Just want to bring that to you. Just know that, the people who control our money think that we can just, keep on printing. Remember that this is the reason why Bitcoin was created, and this is the reason that you are invested into it. For this very reason, when the Fed will not stop printing money, you own Bitcoin that cannot be printed. There is only 21 million, and once they're bought up, they are bought up. With all that said, guys, I hope you're all having a great day. If you haven't subscribed by now, hey, what are you doing? You might as well subscribe. I bring you daily news like this on crypto, covering different coins. If you guys have a coin you want to see me cover, if you want to see some news on it, just leave a comment below, and I'll do my best to keep my eyes out, and I'll report the news on it whenever I see it. If you guys could like the video, that would help me immensely in growing the channel. Thank you guys so much for 1,600 subscribers, and I'll see you all tomorrow on the next video.